Hello, how are you? I just finished reading this book, Den of Thieves by James B. Stewart. And this book is mostly about the scandal of Michael Milken, where he got arrested and sentenced to 10 years in prison. Now, who is Michael Milken? Michael Milken at one time was a Wall Street financier that specialized in a financial product called junk bonds. And when people make investments, they either buy stocks or bonds in the bonds department, and bonds are loans that people give to different corporations. Now, in the bonds department, bonds are categorized depending on their risk. So at the top of the pyramid is the lowest risk. Those are considered triple A bonds. And then at the bottom of the pyramid are the bonds that are considered the ones with the higher risk or the lowest um, certainty that you will get paid back, and those are called junk bonds. Anyway, Michael Milken specialized in the selling and distribution of those junk bonds, and he was great at his job. He was great promoting these bonds, and he created a market for them. And this was an industry that it was almost non-existent, and he made it as one of the biggest industries in the market, the industry of junk bonds. Anyway, in his day-to-day operation, he was selling these junk bonds in order to facilitate the purchase and selling of corporations. And in that process, he had access to a lot of privileged information. Now, he did use this privileged information to his advantage, and he shared that information also with his friends, colleagues, co-workers, and they made millions and millions and millions of dollars. And never mind that he was a brilliant financier, that he knew by heart the balance sheet of most of this corporation, but also he had an advantage of everybody else. He had inside knowledge. He knew when things were going to happen, when a company was going to make an offer to purchase another company, and he was able to buy before those stock prices went up. Anyway, he made a tons of money, but eventually he got caught. How he got caught? Well, what happened is somebody else in his group of friends got caught. They told, and when they got caught, well, they shared that information with the government, and then his whole surrounding, all his partners start getting subpoenas. They start getting um, um, accusations by the government. So many of them pleaded guilty, and many of them pleaded guilty or asked for leniency in exchange for giving information about Michael Milken. Anyways, the information about his dealing was overwhelming. There was so much information the government could use. And finally, he pleaded guilty. And he got a 10-year sentence and a $600 million fine. This is just to give you an idea of how much money he was making, that a fine of $6 million, he was able to pay it like this. In fact, Forbes magazine calculated that his net worth was somewhere close to $4 billion. And this is after he had to pay the penalty to the government, and many of his assets were seized. Whatever, he still had $4 billion left. Well, he was sentenced to 10 years. He ended up doing 22 months because good behavior, because of connections, whatever it was. And in 2020, I believe President Donald Trump give him a pardon. I mean, I'm sure he paid for it. He with influence or donations or whatever, but he got finally pardoned. So it's almost like he didn't commit a crime, and now he's free. Of course, he has many things going on. He does philanthropy, and he's well known. He does sometimes podcasts with famous and powerful persons. Anyway, he has it going on. But what is the lesson that I learned reading this book? The major lesson that I learned is that inside trading is a crime. And to be honest, if let's say Before reading this book, someone would have given me inside information about a particular company. Let's say, hey, this company is going to have this favorable thing happen to it. If you buy stocks right now, you will be able to benefit. To be honest, a few months ago or last month, even if someone would have given me that kind of inside information, chances are that I would have acted upon that information. But now, considering and knowing how serious of a crime that is, I tell you, I wouldn't use inside information for anything in the world. Not only, of course, it's a crime, but also you are taking advantage of the system. And, chances are that someone will get caught. Let's say the person who gave me inside information, 3 years down the line, he gets caught or she gets caught doing something else, something illegal. Then that person changes, uh, divulge all the other illegal things that he or she have been done. Among them, hey, I gave inside information to Align, and oh, there we go. Align acted upon this information. He makes some money of it, and that's a crime. So Align is also going to jail. So, I mean, it's fear. I admit it, it's mostly fear, but also, I didn't realize how damaging it is to the stock market in general. So that's the lesson that I learned, that not to ever even consider using inside information. And then I pass that lesson to you. If someone ever gives you a tip, a reliable tip, the best thing to do is nothing. Just say thank you so much and just don't do anything. Well, that's it. That's my wrap about this book, Den of Thieves by James Stewart. And I recommend, even though it's an old book, it's about 30 years old. It's a fascinating story. I learned a lot. You learn a lot about the characters, about the stock market in general, and it's just amazing to learn as much as you can about the stock market. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.